Okay, the news of the passing of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga is most unfortunate, really. Baba, as he has been fondly referred to in Kenya for years, has been a colossus, such a huge figure in the political arena of Kenya, East Africa, and Africa at large. He spent most of his adult life fighting for a better Kenya, fighting for the growth of Kenya's democracy. And he suffered a great deal. He was in jail for years, he's been bruised, he has been cheated in elections and so on, but he never gave up. He kept pressing on every step of the way. The beauty about Raila Odinga is that he nurtured and mentored people. While he is aware and he will be missed, I don't think the struggle for a better Kenya is going to cease. No, because he mentored young people, middle-aged people, some older folks, and so on. He invested himself, he poured himself into other leaders, and so that legacy gets to live on, so that nothing comes to a halt because a leader is out of the picture. That's the kind of leader he was. As NUP, we were friends with him and the ODM. We met him a couple of times to share experiences, to learn from him. And he was always willing to share experiences and his thoughts and views on many different issues. So it's a big loss. It's a big loss. We do commiserate to his family, the people of Kenya, East Africa, and Africa at large. Raila Odinga, after the 2007-2008 post-election violence, after he was rigged, Kenya was on fire. The people of Kenya said, no, we will not have it. We voted for Raila Odinga. Eventually, that's what got him onto a negotiating table with government to share power. That was the only remedy, because government knew, the leaders of the time knew what they had done. So he said, okay, to remedy this situation, let's share power. And that was the genesis, the commencement of his engagements with government. The sitting government didn't do it because they so much wanted. No, there was pressure from the people to say, you're not the ones who voted for, you have rigged out our person. They said, okay, let's put down the fire and share power. And of course, resultantly, there's been numerous other engagements. Even now, you could say he's been in some kind of power sharing agreement with Ruto. Many of his folks are in government. But I think it's because he got to a point where he could trust the engagements, that we sit and agree on something and it gets to be executed. And maybe that's what kept getting him back to the negotiating table to say, hey, let's get back to this issue. Because he knew once they sit and talk and agree, it will be implemented. And also, of course, the difference with our situation here, you have a regime that is extremely brutal. People are killed. The Chibalamas, John Bosco, Chibalama, John Damulira, Kanata Muhammad, and several others are missing to date. Prime Minister of the Republic says these people were arrested. Army spokesperson says, no, they are hiding in some other country and so on. There's no accountability. People are killed and there is no accountability. And so people ask now, how genuine can these people be about an engagement regarding our country, Uganda? All these are questions looming out there. But otherwise, having discussions about our country ideally is supposed to be a good thing. Yeah, but the challenge is the people you sit on this negotiating table with, are they trustworthy? Will they execute what you have agreed upon? If they cannot show goodwill in the past to hold accountable all those that have committed crimes and atrocities against the people. So all these are issues out there. Of course, there's a lot to learn from Kenya. A leader serves their 2 terms and they leave. In Uganda, you have one leader for 40 years. Can you imagine? 40 years. It's a problem. Yeah. They have also grown their democratic credentials, because in Kenya, folks in the opposition, they are accorded their space, whether it be in parliament, whether it be out there in the public, they'll go mobilize and so on, which is a challenge here in Uganda. We are in a campaign season. We have a presidential candidate. The Electoral Commission draws a schedule which is agreed upon by all candidates. But our candidate will go to some places and the DPC says you're not going to enter that town. But according to the schedule, that's where the candidate is supposed to be. He's going to a town and a venue that was used last week by another presidential candidate, but ours cannot be allowed. So you see all those challenges. In Kenya, it's not the same situation. So there's been a lot of growth. They still have challenges, no doubt, but there's been growth in that regard. Hopefully we can grow and get better as well as a country.
But as a politician, what you have learned from Raila?
I think that the other incredible thing about Raila Odinga is that he mentored people. The struggle for a better Kenya is not coming to a halt because Raila Odinga is out of the picture. He mentored young people, middle-aged persons, older folks, and so on. And so they know what to do. And that's important for a leader. As opposed to thinking it can only be me, I must be the one. When I'm out of the picture, things collapse. You know, he awakened the entire population of Kenya. And that's why you see the Gen Zs today. Without any politician, you know, leading them and telling them what to do, they rise up and they say, we'll not accept this. Why? Because they have been awakened over time by the Raila Odingas of this world and others really within Kenya. And really that's what he has bequeathed to Kenya, an awakened population. And yes, even though he did not become president, his contribution to a better Kenya is indelible. It cannot be erased. It's a tall order, but we've got to keep pressing on every step of the way. Really the same way that Raila did. Gets into elections, they rig him, he battles through it, keeps pressing on and so on. Anything really in life is about continuously pushing the envelope. And that's what we have got to do here as a people, as a population.